let's try again. Let's see where we're up to, because excellent. PP, that looks like second time maybe lucky. That's always good. Hi Martin, sorry, I've had to come out and then start again for whatever reasons. Facebook was I think decided not to stream the first time round, or if it has, it sent it to my page rather than the group. So good evening, I hope you've got some nice chocky biscuits this evening. Hi Alison, hi Tracy, welcome to this live. We've got a reasonable number of people in and it has just gone 7, so we're going to have a little bit of fun this evening. Let's just clear some of this gubbins out of the way. Good evening Faith, hi Jill. So I have done a little bit of prep, a little bit of preparing of things, so that hopefully this will all come together reasonably nicely. Let's just have a let's just move some of this clutter out the way. Good evening Susan, hi Jan, hi Judith. So I have the starting point for this make is, just move this lot out of the way, is this piece. So this is an MDF boat shape from Mad Hatters, and it comes with these extra bits, and then there are some add-on packs. Hi Jan, thank you for joining. Hi Sarah Lou, hi Joan. And it comes with some extra bits, so these will stack one on top of each other, and they're sided, so that makes life easy, and that will give me lots of depth. And so it gives you a nice sort of shadowy space here that you can put things in. That's about a centimetre, probably centimetre and a bit tall. But I thought, that means I can make myself a shadow shaker, because so before I did anything else, I took my boat shape and I've actually got a piece of acetate here, and somewhere around I have got an anti-static sheet, so I just drew around it and cut it out. Now you need construction weight acetate, and because did I have construction weight acetate at home? Did I heck? I had nice flimsy stuff. So this is actually a piece of clear shrink plastic, so it's reasonably robust, and I'm not going to heat it, so it's never going to be cooked in an oven. I'm not going to take a heat gun to it, so actually it's not going to matter, I don't think, that it's that. And then, oops, she says I've got with bits every which way. And then I've taken some papers from a range called Sea Stories by Alchemyofart, which is a Polish brand. And I'm going to put this piece onto here. So the starting point, probably the most sensible bit, is going to be to cut off the end piece so I don't double up on it, and use that. Now see, the Alchemyofart papers I think are quite difficult to get in the UK, but there are 2 sources that I know about. One of them is, thank you Sabine, they are rather lovely. One of them is from 14 Craft Bar, which is based in Ireland, Southern Ireland, and Agnieszka, who owns that company, will happily ship to the UK, and she's quite good at managing to evade customs charges for me, which is always a positive. I have a blocked nozzle again, and the other person who well, who has them is a lady called Sarah Wright from Craft All Day Long. She has a Facebook page, and she orders in on a pre-order basis. So if you really like them, then have a little look at her Facebook page. As I say, the alternative, as far as I'm aware, in the UK or for us would be 14 Craft Bar in Ireland. There we are. So I'm just going to add a goodly there of this. She says fig rolls. Yeah, I like fig rolls. We're going to have one of those days, aren't we? We can feel it coming, having had to come out live and go back in. I don't want thick globs of it, but I do need more than that. Let me see if I can unwrap that, and we'll have a bit of a splodge, because it's clearly going to be one of those days. There we are. We'll splodgy a goodly amount of that onto there. Mop my fingers. Might even need more, having said I put a goodly amount onto here, but hey ho. So the MDF will absorb, does absorb the glue, so you do need a reasonably generous layer. And as ever, I'm working in my very warm, very hot conservatory that has, in spite of it not being particularly warm and sunny today, has been a bit like a greenhouse. So it's actually been much warmer than I think you'd think it was going to be, given the weather and how inclement it's been. So there we are. We've now got a goodly layer of that. That brush can go in there. Oh no, it's they're a pain in the proverbial. Honestly, they are. All glue nozzles do. There we are. And now I've got sticky, yucky, mucky hands because I'm covered in glue from having messed it. It is quiet tonight because no, I've got beautiful sunshine, Sarah Lou. Makes a change, doesn't it? It does make a change. Let's pop that back on there. Pop that back on there. We can always oh dear, oh dear. There we are. Right, excellent. So that's going to go to the actually behind me to dry. As I say, these, don't want to lose my things, are going to be stacked. So I only need to paint one of those, and my assorted MDF pieces, of which we have rather a lot of little bits and pieces, and some of these will be in, I think, in nautical themed bit boxes that have been put together. Alternatively, look under the, for the nautical area of the website for Mad Hatters, and you will find them. So I've got out some collections of paints that actually I don't use that often, to be fair. These are the antiquing paints by Pentart, and they're designed to layer but also to wipe back and give a shabby effect. So I am avoiding the avoiding crackle tonight, but we're going to have a different distressed effect instead. So there we are. Why not? So this is the patina blue, which is the darkest of the blues in this range. So let's just pop these onto here. And they will cover well, and because I'm layering, actually it's less of a problem to go straight onto the MDF. As you know, that I will often, if I'm just single colour painting, will prime first. So we now have our, and I'm going to keep this decoration relatively straightforward. So this is a lighthouse that comes with the latest release. and I'm going for a shabby look. Wendy's put lots of etching lines into here, but because of the look that I'm going for, and the fact that these will sink back in to reveal the lines, I'm not going to worry about painting over these, and the lights are going to be off because that's the look I'm wanting. So that can go there. Right, let's pop that onto there. Let's sit those two dry. That's enough of that one. So now we have, what else do we have? We have, so the same, from the same paint range, this is the dark brown. Let me have a little catch up of, let's find a suitable brush that doesn't look too crackered. We're talking about geckos. Well, each to their own. So let's just give a lot of this area. This one's actually going to be covered by the time I've added all the bits. So it doesn't have to be precise. And as I say, we are going for a shabby layered look tonight. So I'm not overly worried. And did I get any waxes out? No. Will I need them? Well, I can grab them if I do, if I change my mind. It wasn't on the original plans. There we are. So let's just add that, and we can add some extra colours. So we'll go for brown for the shells, and then we can add different shades and different colours on top of them with the distressing technique that I'm going to use. This will make life fairly simple if I stick to a similar sort of process for all of them, but don't be worried, the whole project is most definitely not going to be all dark blue, dark brown embellishments. This is purely so that we can add some extra layers as we go. And I am being slightly naughty because I've raided one of the tiny ports from the octopus, so I might, when I use that, I might be minus an eye, but I've got a plan that I could use something else instead. So let's just add some of these. Hello Michelle, I trust that you're not too hot. I think if you're in the south of France it will be very warm for you. I hope that if it's not, that if you're in the north you might have temperatures that of France, you might have temperatures that are nearer the temperatures of England today. I can hope, can't we? So there we are. Great. So okay, so I thought my screen had frozen, but actually it hasn't. So let me just pop these into here, and then we'll give this a lot a quick blast with a heat gun, which I'm going to have to grab because hey ho. There we are. And I know seaweed or corals are not meant to be brown, and it's not going to stay brown. But I do need to get a base layer of paint onto all of these before I can carry on and add the extra stuff to it. So there we are. Good. There we are. So there we are. Right, let's pop that into there. Let's lid that. Let's pop that over there. And then we'll grab these. So there's some extra colours. So let's grab my heat gun and give this lot a goodly dry. But I don't want my piece of plastic to shrink, so let's pop that well and truly out of harm's way. And then when I forget where I put it, we'll know that I've took it out of the way. So Just give this lot a good dry. Because then I have a very useful implement, which is a very bent candle. That's how hot it is in my conservatory. I had this out, I stuck it in a pot to keep it safe, and it went whoop and bent over. So that was on one of the hotter days of it, rather than today. So it's just as well, because I really can't use it as a candle. I don't think it's going to burn very nicely for me. So I'm going to be able to use that as my distressing technique. What I hear you say, have you completely lost the plot? Well, the answer is possibly. Possibly I've completely lost the plot, and maybe not. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So there we are. So let's put those brown ones over there. I'm going to do these in stages. So this will act as a resist. So if you just rub this, your candle, in some areas of your makes, then where the wax goes, you'll be able to rub the paint back more easily. So it doesn't really matter where, because it's a very inexact technique, but it will just add some texture and some extra details to these pieces. And you can say, I'm really not being very precise with where I add these. So let me just add some more into the centres of some of those. But we'll, you know, it is, and I'm not intending and deliberately don't want to cover the whole of everything, but I just want to be able to sand back some of it to give me some texture. So it's a different technique, but it's a cool idea, I think, and you'll see what I mean by just making for something that's just that little bit different. So I have some of the alternative colours that go with the antiquing paints. I have a white, I have a this is called cream green, and I have a patina blue, a paler blue. So the first one was called patina green, and this one is called patina blue, and it is just a really pretty, beautiful colour. So let us grab a paintbrush, of which we have got lots, and all I'm going to do now is add this over the top. Now I don't want to really to heat dry this, because it's going to melt my wax underneath, and that's not quite, and it'll melt it into the paint. Good evening, Charmaine, thank you for joining us this evening. So this is just going to, I'm going to need to let this dry on its own, and it will act as a resist. So that's what I want for that one, and I'm just going to add some little areas onto here, because I don't want these two to be completely solidly that colour. So let's pop the lid on that one, and then we're going to move to this one is called cream green, and it's a very soft greeny grey-y colour, I would say, rather than true, you know, it's certainly not a true green. And remember that these are going to white back, so and distress, so again it doesn't have to be that precise, and but it's going to give my piece an aged, distressed, worn effect. And that's the whole purpose of using the candle, is to add a distressed effect to things. And it's going to, so a different distressing technique, I think, to using crackle. And I just thought it would be a little bit different. So let's just have some of these, because we can just mix these up a little bit. And I've got, let's say, I've got a green that I'm going to use on some of the pieces, and I can go back in and add some waxes if I want to. I might need to grab those at the end, towards the end of the live, but hopefully by doing this we will have a little bit of time, and that will allow us to do these. Good evening, Anya. Hi Louise, sorry if I missed you. It's quite difficult to pick up what everyone else is, whatever's, what's going on, and to notice all of the comments as we go through a live. But I will check back, and if people have asked questions, then I will answer them. So that's cream green, and for the coral piece I'm going to add some areas of this green. And that's not completely dry, so that's not great, but hey ho, who's counting? Let's pop. That's the right lid. Yeah, Vaseline would work as well. That is for certain. And there's a vintage medium that will, from Pentart, that if you've got that, you can use that. So I'm just now adding some green onto the seaweedy piece. There we are. So, but I don't want firm lines, so there we are. Let's just do that. It's cool. It's not letting you share tonight. Well, I struggled to get on. In fact, I went live and I just couldn't see it appear on Crafting Together with All Brown's page. I ended up having coming out and coming back in. So Anya, these that I'm using are the antiquing paints, and there's a whole range of them by Pentart. They're basically water-based acrylics, and there is a remover as well to help remove things. These are still needing to dry, but they're a lovely muted patina in vintagey paints. But as I say, they are water-based, so which is always cool in my book. So let's get rid of some of this out of the way, because I just need to. And those now need to dry, and as I say, I don't particularly want to pick up a heat gun to dry them, because I'm going to melt the wax. So let me just give that a little bit of a clear the mess. Take this out of the way, because that's always a good move. And then I can pick up, hopefully, the piece that I stuck the paper on, which, let's just move those out of the way and find a knife. You see, this is what happens when you have too many bits on the go. There we are. Let's shuffle those out of the way, because I need a firm surface and a sharp knife blade. So there we are. Have I got a sharp knife blade? The answer, that will be no. So I think you have to look around quite hard at the moment. So I would look for That's Crafty, because the basics are in there, and of course you can use paints from anyone, but for the mediums, then That's Crafty have the crackles, the gel mediums that I use, and things like that. And then who else would have them? Mad Archers has them, has some of them in, and again mainly the mediums, but Leanne is very helpful and she will have them. And then it's a question of looking around. Now I have a bit of inside information, and Dali, who was the person who Davinda Graham, who bought the papers, the Pentart range first into the UK, is in the process of moving. I know a year ago she said that she was shutting up shop and closing completely, but actually there's been a change of plan, and she's talking about reopening with but in relocating to near her partner or near her new partner, bless her, and up in New Mills, and reopening the shop. And it should have happened by now, but her lovely dad, who was visiting for 3 months, fell and had a very difficult time, and it delayed all sorts of things. So the last I heard was she was planning on moving up to New Mills and then concentrating on reopening the shop in August, so not long, but obviously I will let people know. Anya, where are you based, darling? Are you in the UK? Because it is a real struggle to get them from the UK. That is for certain. But hopefully Dali opening, starting back up will help. I just don't have, at 60, I don't want to take the risk with my pension to, open a shop and things. In the Netherlands, yes, I think that might be difficult, but you could probably order from lots of the Polish companies, and they will ship to you, and there's lots of them who stock Pentart, I think. Well, I know there's lots of them that stock Pentart. So let's just start doing some building. Hello from Canada, that's lovely to see you. Now we're going to have the inevitable set of headaches, aren't we? Because we've got our blocked glue pot. It is definitely going to be. Mind you, it's possibly that I'm getting towards the bottom of this. So let's just pop this onto here. And we'll pop this. I could use gel medium for this, but actually PVA glue will work just as well. I think the mediums that from Pentart that I miss, that are specific to Pentart, that it's difficult to substitute, are the crackles, the deluxe paste, the antiquing paste. I think are very difficult. They're the difficult ones. So I'm just going to line that up with that edge. Make sure it's squashed it down. I'll line its counterpart in crime up. Otherwise we'll have a leaky shadow box, and that's maybe not such a good one. Absolutely, I think Leanne is, if she's got it, she doesn't have a big range, Judith, but if she's got it, she will. She's incredibly helpful at shipping internationally. I think we all know that it's not always so easy to get stuff. There we are. So that's that there. So let's just do the next layer. And as I say, as this is layered, I didn't need to cover all of these. Anya, are you in the Netherlands? Is in Europe, isn't it, or in the EU? Try again. They don't have lots of it. but try 14 Craft Bar. If there's specific things that you want, she may have them in. She does have some Pentart products, and she might well be getting some more as I'm teaching there in the autumn, and have needed to, need some more, her to have a few more bits than she's currently got for the project I'm doing. But most things can be substituted. So like the paints, you can do the technique I'm doing with the candle with any acrylic paint. Just because I'm using ones that are entitled antique paints, it doesn't matter from that point of view, because the technique will work perfectly well with any acrylic paint. And there are definitely Polish shops that I'm sure will ship to the Netherlands. It's always a challenge, isn't it? Each let's just see if I can shuffle this to line it up a bit better than I've managed to line it so far. Cool. And I can paint the edges or wax the edges ultimately anyway. I don't want a gap there because I know that I'm adding stuff to that. So there we are. I haven't, that's reasonably well lined. We'll leave it comme ça. Right, let us grab a clean baby wipe. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Anya, then do it with the antiquing paints or the hybrid acrylics. I think you'll find that it will work perfectly well with those. I have a large supply of the hybrid acrylics and antiquing paints that have been a real struggle to get hold of for me and get to me, but they were posted out eventually today, so I should have those tomorrow. But I think, as long as you've got an acrylic base, I think you should be able to do this technique comfortably with it. So let's pop that over there for safekeeping. Right, so these are all the pieces that I have added antique paints to in different areas. Don't you worry, I just hope you've had a lovely time. So that one is still wet. I can see it's still wet, and so is that. So let's do the pieces that I can see are dry and just rub these back. They say it's she says, dropping a sandpaper on the floor. So wherever I've got the wax, I did meet Cora and she's lovely. So you are very, very lucky. I think we now have resolved the UK supply issue for the Myers paints, and maybe I will use them on a live here in a few weeks, next time, because the lovely Liz Wheeler and I are going to be tag teaming it on a Wednesday in future, and if one of us is away, the other one will probably pick it up, so that it just makes such an attempt to make life a little bit easier for the group managers, because having to fill in the guides and and find people to agree to do the lives every week is not so easy really. So you can see that with my sandpaper I'm lifting this in areas, but actually I really can't lift it in all of the areas. Now I have, so it just is going to give me this very distressed, worn look, which is what I was wanting, rather than it all being completely one colour. And because all of the pieces are tonally correct, let me just swap to a nail file. There we are, we'll add that. I think this poor sanding block is getting a little bit beyond its ability to sand very well, but hey ho. You can see how it's lifting, leaving me a very it is indeed. So Joan, so as I say, Liz and I have agreed with both Charmaine and Lou Sims that we will, you know, alternate on Wednesday. So one week it will be mixed media, and the second week it will be much more paper based or journal based, so that we've got some differences. So it's not all the same. We're rather hoping that that will just make life easier for people. Because, yeah, much as everyone is back at work, we've still all got, yeah, most of us have got crafting supplies. Most crafters are still wanting to craft, and are still needing, yeah, or wanting some degree of inspiration. And so being able to, there we are. Jill plans your last minute at Harry. Yeah, we just work very differently. And that's the joy, isn't it? Because then we get different makes and different styles. There we are. And maybe I should have done some of these ahead of the live, because my poor hand is not liking this very much tonight. So you'll have to do another live soon. Well, you'll have to pick a different day of the week. But yes, it would be lovely. There we are. So I've now got very distressed shells. There's my other one of those. And this is when the splodgy painting becomes less of an issue, because I'm layering it back, I'm scratching at the edges, I'm wanting it to be non-uniform, and the transitions between the different areas will get hidden as we do it. Get a sanding assistant. Yeah, husband, but he's not very good at this. He's very heavy-handed, and I think he's currently eating tea, so I don't think he'd be much impressed. Did I add any wax to that? Possibly not. Let's see. Oh yes, I did. There we are. So there we are. All is good. I am having a standing workout. Just as well I go to the gym and do aqua aerobics on a regular basis. There we are. You don't need a posh camera setup, Martin. An ordinary phone will work, and you do need a phone holder, but they're not expensive, and they're relatively easy to source. There we are. So we now have one distressed one of those. Yeah. Hopefully this piece will be easier to distress. Less of a problem down there. Most of that piece is going to get covered. There we are. So we've now got the different layers of the paints coming through quite happily to give a distressed shabby effect. Good evening, Lamia. I think it's easier to do this on a bigger surface. But to be honest, because the problem is if I pick these up to sand them, they're not very big and they'll start to flex, and then I might end up with them breaking. And at this point, that's not what I want to happen. And if you wanted, you could then do this another time, add some more wax to to it, and then paint with a third colour over the top, and again distress back. So the options are good for this. There we are. So I now have pieces that are very different. From this point of view. Now on my phone it's all looking quite dark, but I suspect if I turn the light on above me, it might get too bright. So let me just distress back my beautiful MDF green lighthouse, even greenhouse. What am I talking about? I definitely do think I'm going to need to invest in a new foam sanding block. Hey ho. There we are. We're getting there. Right, let us clear the dust. Let me just pop, excuse me if ladies, before you go all seasick. Let's see if that will make life easier, because there is no blue tint in here. There we are. Aha! You see now? But I've just turned my light on and it'll glare. Let me just wipe back the dust. So there we are. So I've got lots of layers of different depths and dimension being added now. One of the good things about using the antiquing paints is that they come off more easily, and they tend to come off with a good wet wipe as well, which again is quite a good technique. But I do just want to get rid of the dust on here. Yeah, I've just turned my ring light on, and I wouldn't have thought it was that dark, but clearly there we are. So I'll just get rid of the dust off the surface. It's amazing how much extra dust there is, and lifting that, what a difference it will make to the finished pieces. So there we are. Let's just wipe that one back. And then we can start assembling. We have a plan, we have a plan, we have a plan, we have lots of bits. We have lots of bits. Right. So, I have, partly because I don't really want, it is a good effect, because I don't really want to, because glue's going to take a long time to dry, I'm going to sandwich these with some combination of glue and red liner tape. So I'm going to pop that up to the edge, cross that in, and then I can add glue around the other edge of here. Hopefully. There we are. Because otherwise I'll lose my flipping piece of shrink plastic that I'm using instead of construction acetate. There we are. That's that piece. Let's just give that a jolly good push down. I will add some glue anyway, but this will help. There we are. And I think it's cheaper, isn't it? You know, because we can do this, do that effect and get this shabby, distressed feel with the candle. You know, most of us have got candles sitting at home. It's not, you know, and they're not expensive. You know, even if you haven't, you can pick bags of tea lights up cheaply enough at a well-known Swedish store, or go into one of the other cheaper high street stores and pick up candles really quite cheaply. And you know, it just means that you're not having to buy an expensive medium to do things, when there are, you know, when you can just have the technique without needing to, you know, to do that. So let's just hope that that's going to stick. Otherwise we'll end up with all the bits stuck. But as I say, I will add some glue, which will help matters. Right, excellent. So we now need our base. And I've got bits to go in and bits to go on. So I'm just going to pop she says nearly globbing bits of glue every which way, so let's just, don't want too much excess on here because it's going to, it will glob everything, and then the shaker bits will all stick. Not that that's a huge issue, but there we are. Okay, you can always give it a blitz with a glue gun. So that is going to sit there, and let's just give that a little push, pop that into there, and that can go onto there. And then what else have we got? I have some bits and pieces that I know I wanted to put into here, so let's see if we can find all of the pieces that I want to have in here, and I don't want all of him poking out, so he's going to get a little bit of a haircut, and to do that I'm literally just going to pop that onto there, pop that onto there, and that's going to give me an edge that I can then cut around. I don't want the white lines from my fussy cutting, and that was intentional in the first place. So let me just grab, oh poor Octo, yeah, but this way you can get a twofer if you want to, Anya. You can, you know, you can add so we'll just give him a little bit of a distressing, because why not? So he can then go into there, because I'm going to have other bits on the top of this, and I'm not going to set him up vertically, I'm going to pop him flat, because I think it's going to be better long term, but for what I'm doing here. So he's going to look like he's coming in from there. Now long term, that is going to sit onto there, and I'm going to have some other bits and pieces. Now I know I had 2 ships, so I'm going to pop a ship and a ship, like so, like that. Again, I don't want that, the white, but I'm not up to fussy cutting all of those bits out. So you can see sort of how my thought process is working in this one. So that's going to go up there, tucked into there, and this one can be inked and then going to go into there. And he's going to go onto there. Don't worry about that gap at the bottom, because it's not going to be seen long term anyway. Okay, so I know that that's going to go into there, so those 2 are going to go into there. Right, now the fun. But now some more fun. Okay, so let's just pop a piece of tape red liner across there. Get rid of that piece of glitter that's into there. Find the end of your tape, because that's always the next fight, isn't it, whenever we do these things. Pop this as close to the edge as possible. She says, having got glue on this on the edge of the tape, which is not really what I wanted. There we are. Let me just it's going to be one of them days. Let us swap to a different pair of scissors. No, it doesn't. The boat, well, on TV, the boat was part of a plaque set or a bases set, which had 5 or 6 different pieces in it for about £20, and the other elements come from one of the nautical add-ons packs, so you can pick the embellishments that you want. So if you want steampunk rather than shells, then you can use those, or you, and of course the papers are all separate anyway. So but Wendy's stuff is very, very cheap, and she has recently put what she's calling bit boxes on the website, and there's a nautical theme, so it's a bit potluck as to what you're going to get in them, but you'll find lots and lots of different elements that will all work together, if that makes sense. So let us now try the impossible. which is getting these flipping bits of tape off and leaving the glue on. Leaving the tape on there. So I really don't want to add all wet glue to this, because though I could add all wet glue, I was wanting an instant stick, if that makes sense. Right, let's try again. There we are. I think we've got the top layer off that one. Yep. Thank you, Wendy. So I think they might, I mean, they're all going to go on separately for people to pick and choose the bits that they want. Maybe it might be worth us putting on the Mad Hatters page a link with all of the elements that we've used. That might actually help, mightn't it? So what have I got? I had a little pot. I've got a little pot. These are all leftover bits, so there we are. That's a good one. So that is Jupiter Galaxy Flakes and Uranus Blue Galaxy Flakes, and some of these florally starfishy bits. We are obviously going to need quite a lot to fill this, so hey ho. So we'll add it. If you're going to have a shaker element, then you might as well have a nice thing. There we are. So all sorts of bits, all bits that I've basically got lying around. She says. So yeah, for someone who doesn't use, because I really don't use glitter and sequins, I've seemed to have acquired quite a lot of them. So this is my piece of acetate, and I have pre-emptied the static, and I have anti-static it, and I've cut it to size, and will almost certainly need to trim it long term, so that can go down onto my glue, my piece there, onto my sticky tape. We'll start the next fight, because guarantee it will be. Yep. They're good, and so there's a mixture of seed beads, sequins, galaxy flakes, you know, lots of different bits and pieces, just to add, you know, some texture to it all. And I think if you're going to do it, you might as well have lots of them. So it depends on what you want to do with it. I'm using this as just as a panel to provide myself a window. In that sense, it's easy, because I've not done anything complex or difficult with this. If you're wanting to stamp onto it, then you need to use a solvent based piece. There we are. Come on. So I've added a goodly amount into there, and that's cool. There we are. So I now have all sorts of other bits and pieces, some of which I will use and some of which I won't use. Aha, there it is. So these again all come from the Sea Stories pad of paper, because at the moment it really does look like I've got a ridiculous amount of those into there. So he's going to go there, and these are double-sided in the papers, so then you can add them as you want. So he's going to go onto there, that's going to go onto there, he's going to go onto there. So it won't look so obvious in a minute that there's quite so much gubbins in here. I've got a little steamy punky anchor that's going to sit onto there. Right, excellent. So I know I want him there. I'm I'm just going to highlight the edge of this because it's not standing out quite as much as I would like it to. So that's going to go onto there. So let's just have some more of that, and we'll pop a bit of that onto there. So that's going to go there. I know that I want this underneath there, so that can go there, and it will stick eventually onto the acetate, and that piece can go there. Right, let's clear the mess. I know that I want that's going to sit there, so let us just add she says glumping that where she doesn't want it. Hey ho, there we are. Right, good. That will make a mess and smear. Let me just get that mopped up. And she then puts it onto everything else. Well done, woman, that woman. So that's going to go over there. That can sit into there. That can sit there. That is going to sit underneath there. Cool. Let's just mop that mess. There we are. So that that's setting reasonably straight. Now then, okay, she says. So that's what I want up here. My little porthole can sit into there, and that's going to cover that hole quite happily. You don't need to apologise, it's just part of life, isn't it? It is just part of life. So let's just pop that off centre onto there, the extra porthole into there. There we are. Let's just move them messing around, and now we've got some extra bits and pieces that I want to add into here. So we're going to add one. We're going to layer these. So at this point I might well need some gel medium, and I don't need all of them. So let me just grab another baby wipe because I'm icky sticky and don't like being icky sticky. And there we are. Okay. So we have in that kit, we have a little bottle, so that can go onto there. And he can go onto there. So all I'm doing is layering my elements now, so that until I'm completely happy with them. We've got all sorts of bits and pieces here, so I know that I want 2 of these in and out. So let's just pop some bits. So that one can go up there. That will grab. It's going to grab where it's going to grab, and that can go there. I'm just going to unlike last week where I used a whole mountain, the other day when I used a whole mountain of pinfair glue, I'm going to move to my gel medium at this point because it's just going to give me, it's going to be less messy, I think, as much as anything else. So that can go into there, and I'm building my layers now. She says moving everything, so let's just pop this piece into where I want it. So that's going to go there. can go there, that can go there. We've got the pieces coming out of each other. She says making a right flipping pickle, and that's fine because we can sort that out. There we are, that can go underneath there, that can go underneath there. We're going to pop another one of these along there. We're going to add this one. And the joy of using the gel medium at this stage is that it's just going to allow me to add the depth and the texture into here. Now often I would use, let's get an old brush, that's too big, that one will do, art stones and things at this stage to fill in these gaps, but actually I'm not too sure I want to use art stones given I've got the shaker elements in there. I don't think they're going to work very well with those shaker elements, so I'm going to resist my temptation to do that. I could add some bits of some, use the words of the sequins and things and adding them into there, but I'm thinking I might not today. So we'll just add and build our collage. Now we happen to have a little crab. Do I want my little crab there? No, I don't want my little crab there, but might I have an extra sea starfish from the paper pack? Yeah, I think I might add a starfish from my paper pack, so that can go into there. Just adds a little bit of extra detail. What else have we got? We've got another ship in a bottle. I think that might sit nicely into there, so let's just pop a little bit of glue onto the bottom of there. And because I've got gel medium on most of these, I can actually tuck stuff in and under quite happily, so that works for me. Do I want to add another bottle? I think I am going to add another bottle, and this is, at this stage, it is literally all about just playing and adding the layers that you want. There we are. So that can go into there. What have we got here? We've got a spyglass. Let's see whether we want to add our spyglass into here or not. Yeah, I think that will work into there, so let's just put a bit of glue underneath. It's going to grab the glue on the top. There we are. So let's have a clear down, because we've got all sorts of gubbins all over the place, and we're going to get in a right flipping pickle if we don't. There we are. I know what it's like. So before I give this a really good shake, I'm going to let the rest of it dry solidly, and then we might well. There we are. Good. Where have I put that lid? And I can still see where I splodged that glue, which wasn't very helpful. So let me just give that a jolly good little wipe. Clear up all of the extra bits and pieces that are on there. Might give it a little bit of a watery look, but hey ho, who's counting? And add a little bit of brown around the edge of there. You know what? I will add, almost certainly will add some art stones onto there long term. They're surprisingly easy. You just need to make sure that you've got your layers properly secured, otherwise the bits will all fall out, Caroline. But they're not difficult to do, and as I say, this will give you a shaker element, and it just adds a little bit of extra to it. So there we are. So happily yeah, having told you I wasn't going to shake it about until it had all set properly, there we are, there's me shaking it about, which wasn't very intelligent really, was it? There we are. So that lot all now needs to just be left to dry, and that completes our make for this evening. So I hope that that has been helpful, useful, entertaining, whatever you wanted it to be really. As I say, Liz Wheeler will join us to be doing the Wednesday live next week. I am live on Mad Hatters on Sunday at 7:30. I'm away with the lovely Tamara Morton doing a workshop on Saturday, which will be great fun. Thank you very much, Wendy, for liking what I've done. Thank you to everyone else for joining me, and I will see you virtually at some point in the next few days, I am sure. Let me swap to the right system. There we are. We can stop stream.